Well, CJ, thanks for having us here in lovely West Virginia. How are you enjoying your time at the Greenbrier? I brought some of the lovely chairs here to give the motif of what is a pretty unique environment for training camp.
Yeah, it's different. It's nice to be out the heat, but it's definitely different than what we're used to. But I think it's good. Like, I try to think about it as like an away game. Just different environment, different place to sleep, different different setting. So I think it's good, to break the monotony of camp and try to, get some new work in this nice weather.
What's a day in the life for you? You've been here for a few days in West Virginia as you try and mix, obviously, the football, the prep, but also some of that team bonding that's so important this time of year.
Yeah, it's only us out here. It's not really much to do, so we really just, spend more time together, play cards, probably learn like 14 different card games this week.
Who's running the show in the card games?
Usually Davis.
Yeah.
Davis and Dalton. We did an escape room.
Oh, you did, too? I was going to ask you about this because the Broncos quarterbacks, I know, did it, I guess it was during the season last year, and I heard some funny stories about that. What was the experience like for you?
Well, I helped where I could. I didn't want to use much brain power because learning a new playbook, but I made some important decisions, but Davis, Dalton, and Justin Watson were making the majority of the decisions.
That's a perfect transition to the football, and I obviously wanted to ask about the process of learning a new offense. And Nick Caley comes in, and obviously he has a lineage in New England, L.A., and now he brings it to Houston. Big picture, what's that experience been like?
It's been good. He's somebody who is a fiery guy, brings the juice every day, has a bunch of energy. So, he helps us in that area a bunch, and very smart, knows, a lot about the past of where he's been in New England and L.A., is very knowledgeable about the game, and he wants to learn about quarterback. That's one thing I liked about him is, he didn't come in just, saying, hey, read this way, read this that way. He gave me a lot of ownership on, the reads and, how we're going to, break things down. So that's been a lot of fun doing that with him. And, it's been good, though. I've been learning a lot. Watching a bunch of old Patriots stuff, so it's cool to see Brady and Edelman and Gronk, kill guys every year and, have their ups and downs with the offense. And they were in it for so long, so it's year one, so, we're not going to be that level yet, but we're getting closer and closer every day.
You've been in football your entire life, but is this like learning a new language, or are there things that you can take from whether it was last year, things at Ohio State, that work within the framework of this offense, or is this pretty much brand new for you?
I would say both. There's things that I've done in my past in college and now, the last 2 years that we do here, but it's new terminology. So it's kind of like learning a new language, but the same words, the same principles of the words, just different words. Yeah. So, I think the systems are a lot similar, especially the Ram stuff is similar to what we've been doing in the past. So that's pretty good, but it's not completely different, but it's also not the same. So it's a little bit of both.
The Brady connection with you, it goes back a while. It's been described at times. When you look at what he did in this offense, what are some of the things that you feel like, I can see myself also finding success in that way?
Yeah, I would say, the ownership of, running the show of, run checks, mic IDs, pass protections. He really bought into it, but one thing that I try to tell myself is I have to fight to get to that point where it's comfortable and it's like writing ABCs, but I'm not there yet, so I just got to keep going and be hard on myself, but also, try to give myself a little bit of grace. But everybody's depending on me and, this offense and how we're going to roll. So, I'm really hard on myself about it, which I think is a good thing, but also, try to learn as much as I can while in that.
You mentioned challenging yourself, being hard on yourself. When I look at last year, there's so much discussion about what this team didn't do, maybe what you weren't able to do. The record was the same. The result in terms of where you made it in the playoffs was the same. Yeah, there's ups and downs. How did you view last season?
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Not in the point of winning or losing or success or failures, but it's what I learned, as a person, as a man of God, as a teammate, as a citizen in society, in Houston, so I learned just a bunch. And I think, some of the best things that could ever happen are, expectations not being met, because then you really see who cares and who doesn't, and that's where you like. You can still extend love, but you don't have to give people access. So it just taught me a lot on just like, who's really there for me, who's not. And I thought, with what I had and what we dealt with as a team, I thought we did great. We're down on linemen a lot, changed a lot in the receiver room, with Tank getting hurt, Steph, and Nico going down early. So, with what we had, I thought we did a good job weathering the storm. But, at the end of the day, everybody has entitled to their opinion, and I always like criticism and stuff. I think it always makes me play better. So,
well, that's a Brady thing too. Whether it's in this offense or not, fueled by those that doubt, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I would say fueled by those who believe in you. Yeah, everybody's gonna doubt at one point. Like, if you try to make everybody happy, you're gonna fail somewhere, because somebody else gonna have a different opinion. So, at the end of the day, you got to do what's happy for as a believer for God and for family, friends, teammates, the city of Houston. So and even in those elements, sometimes you're not going to always hit it, and that's okay. We're human, So you got to keep fighting, keep swinging, and that's one thing that I'm proud of, not of the team, but also myself. Is like every day I got up and I didn't complain. I try to just attack it head on, and I think as a team we did that. So, it's not always going to be perfect, but I think we didn't shy away from anything, and I think that at the end of the day, that's what counts.
I do want to hit on a couple of the aspects of this offense specific to the weapons you have. What Nico has become is impressive, and then you add in a couple young rookies to have your front office add 2 wide receivers in their first 3 picks, and you marry that with Joe and Nick Chubb, who's a legend in this game in a short period of time. The excitement level you have for the pieces that they've built up around you, how would you best describe it?
Yeah, I would describe it just like versatile. We got different backs, different receivers, different tight ends. And I thought, we put, a lot of resources into that. And, I think it's been great. And I think, we got this, at the end of the day, it's about getting everybody going. Mm-hmm. And I think, we just got to get everybody around us to buy into what we're doing. And I think we've done that in this short point in camp, and just continue to do that. But, yeah, it wasn't very easy, going through, some of the things we went through last season where guys getting hurt and, having to bring guys up, and, then we, Laramie gets traded and things like that. So, it's a lot of questions on, why. But at the end of the day, it's like you can only do what you can control what you can control. And I think, we've done that and trying to be as best as we can. So, I'm really excited for this year. It's a new challenge for me, new challenge for our coaches, our team. And I think, we're going to try to do as best we can. But the guys we brought in, they love ball, play really hard. Effort's there, the mentality. So I think, we're going to be fine.
And to that point, and my last question for you, what's the mindset that C.J. Stroud's bringing to the 2025 season?
That's a good question. There's a bunch of different things. I would say just wins. Mm-hmm. And I'm not just saying winning on the field at the end of the game. Of course, that's the main goal. But, wins in my personal life, wins in my private life, wins in my public life, just wins all over. Win as a man of God, win as a teammate, win as a brother, I don't mean to get but I think that's life though. This game is a life game. So I think I take it there because it's necessary, and I just want consistent wins.
Well, we're winning right now, man. Gorgeous day in West Virginia. We really appreciate you taking some time.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Great.